In this short video, I show you a very simple method to make your own precision ground flat stones. You will need sharpening stones, of course, and also a pencil and some patience. That's all. With precision flat stones, you can easily remove small irregularities from a precision surface. The principle is very simple. A certain surface pressure is needed to let a stone grind away material from a steel surface. When using a perfectly flat stone and a perfectly flat steel surface, the entire surface of the stone touches the steel, so there is far too little pressure to let the stone bite into the surface. The stone just skates over the surface, doing nothing at all. But if there is an irregularity, the protruding edge of a tiny dimple, for example, then the force on that stone will only be exerted on that tiny edge that is easily ground away. These precision stones are of course offered everywhere, but at a hefty price. Let's make them ourselves. It is simple, cheap, and certainly not of inferior quality. On the contrary, it is preferable to start with round stones, which makes it easiest to grind perfectly flat. They can be bought everywhere for a few euros or dollars. You need 3 of them. The result will be 3 perfectly flat stones, which you can also maintain yourself, so that you never need to have them ground flat again. In this video, I use a precision straight edge ruler. You don't need one. I'm just using it for demonstration purposes. Just a pencil will do. I don't want to use the straight edge ruler on stone unless it's really necessary. So I use a caliper leg, which I put under the ruler here, and see that there's a bend in it. Over the width of the stones, the deviation is 2 microns. This is accurate enough to start with. Before I start grinding, I put the caliper on all 3 stones. They are definitely not flat. This can also be seen clearly when I test the stones by grinding them over each other. When I was 10 years old, my interest in astronomy began, and of course with it the need to build a telescope and the necessary Newton mirror. I bought the book 1001 Celestial Wonders as observed with home-built instruments in a second-hand bookshop. Here is a page from it. This image clearly shows what happens when you grind 2 glass, or stone, plates over each other. The force exerted on the upper plate creates a torque that presses the plate harder against the lower plate in the direction of movement. Because the edge of the upper plate hangs over for part of the time during grinding, the central part is ground more. The result is a top plate that becomes concave and a bottom plate that becomes convex. This is how the desired concave Newton mirror is created. However, if you want to make the plates flat, you will have to change the upper and lower plates very regularly. The stones are ground on each other according to a fixed pattern, A on B and vice versa, then B on A and vice versa. The same goes for B on C and C on A. During grinding, the upper stone is rotated approximately 90 degrees each time. In this way, any deviations in the surface of the stones gradually cancel each other out. This is called the Whitworth method, after the inventor who used this method as early as 1830. After 4 rounds of these grindings, the deviation becomes too small to reliably measure with the somewhat curved caliper leg. So here I very carefully examine the deviation with the straight edge ruler. Remember, this is for demonstration purposes only. The curvature of the caliper leg comes in handy now. I can estimate the error in the curvature of the stones by placing it with the concave or convex side on the stones. The fourth round of grinding, I suspect this will be the last. In the first round, I roughly ground away some of the largest bumps and holes, which resulted in 2 concave and 1 convex surface. In the second round, I let both concave stones flatten each other. In the third round, I really systematically followed a grinding pattern of rotations and up and down changes. In this round, I repeat the work of the third round, but apply less pressure to the stone and keep to the schedule very carefully. The same number of grinding movements each time, followed by 90 degrees rotations, and once returned at the starting point, a rotation of 45 degrees, after which the entire round was repeated. I also made sure to move the top stone a maximum of 1/3 of its diameter over the edge of the bottom stone. Stone 8 touches stone B everywhere. The planes are therefore completely parallel. Stone A touches stone C everywhere. Their planes are therefore completely parallel. Let us suppose that stone A is convex, then B and C must be concave. However, if B and C touch each other everywhere, then there is only one conclusion possible. All 3 stones are perfectly flat. That's the beauty of this simple method. Just to be unnecessarily more sure, let us verify these results with the precision straight edge ruler. Look, 3 perfectly flat stones. In theory, flatter than any surface grinder can achieve. And, if the stones are no longer flat after use, you simply repeat round 4 in this video. Costs less than €10, half a pencil point, and an hour of elbow grease.